Okay, we're live. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
You remember me? I'm Macy. I am the one doing the Autism Career Pathway pilot project. Also, a mom and an autism parent coach. And I have a very special host today, Victoria.
Yes, I'm Victoria, and I'm currently a teacher and also a sibling of somebody with autism.
Well, what kind of teacher are you?
I am an art teacher at a school for kids with special needs.
Okay.
Essentially, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, today I want to chat with you about your brother. So, can you tell us a little bit more about your family and about your brother?
Yeah, my brother, he is he just turned 23 just recently.
Mm-hmm.
And he is high functioning, and he is just about to graduate from his undergraduate chemistry program in Florida. So
Chemistry, huh?
chemistry,
Oh
yes.
my gosh.
I have no idea what he's saying sometimes. Everything is way too complicated for me to understand. But he loves it. But it's been quite a journey for me and my family. So it's just him and I and our family.
So
Yeah.
your brother still
Yes.
lives with your parents?
Yeah, so he's still
Right.
living at home. We thought that was the best fit for where he was at, being able to commute from home to school. So it's a nearby state school,
Okay.
like 20-minute commute. So he'll drive there and
Oh,
from
so
every
he
day.
drives. Okay.
Yes, he drives. Yeah.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
So, I thought maybe we can chat about, the perception of high functioning people. Because I think the struggle is still real, right? So I want to touch on a few topics. One is the topic of communication. In my work, we call experience sharing communication. We call it experience sharing communication, which is how human beings interact and how you have conversations with each other. So how does that look like when you are having conversations with your brother?
Yeah, it's a good question. I feel like when I'm having conversations with him and people that we're comfortable, that he's more comfortable with, more in the family he sees very often, that he feels pretty comfortable with them, and that we're good at having that back and forth conversation. I definitely think that he feels more comfortable with subjects that he's more interested in, and especially in general with communication, but especially with people that he doesn't know as well. He'll want to interact, and there's that initiation and desire to connect with people that's so there. It's such a big desire of his, but it takes so much out of him. So after having a conversation or going out to someplace, he'll come back and just be exhausted, and sometimes even take like a 2-hour nap. It's just
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It'd be very exhausting.
Yeah.
Experience.
So do you think that your brother knows the social expectations when he's out and about and he needs to engage with people? He kind of knows what's expected.
I feel like it's a yes and no almost, because I feel like he feels the need and the expectation that he should connect with somebody, he should talk to somebody, but just that the actual planning of how to do that, I think, evades him sometimes, and that adds to that anxiety of I know I should talk to somebody, I know that I should just be standing here, but I don't know, should I just walk up to this person's talking to somebody, there's a lot of those elements that are challenging for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good keep in mind. I think the definition of, like, for us neurotypicals, our social expectations, and how we take it for granted to just meet somebody new and just be able to hang out and call people, and we don't plan for those things, but we just go with the flow. And for I think most adults with autism, they're not really, it's really hard for them to do that, right? So keep that in mind. And being social might look different also
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I mean, maybe use of eye contact is a little bit different, and how you are able to drive the conversations or co-participate, that might be a little different. I think so. I just want to have us keep that in mind. So the second point, and this is a huge one because of your brother's age, he's at that point where he has to think about what's out there for me, making lots of big decisions for his life, and thinking about the possibility of living alone. Right?
It's huge.
I mean, I'm sure it's very hard for you guys to think about just him living alone, after college. And how does that look in terms of helping him to make decisions at this point?
I think the way you described it is so good, because it is just so many things. It's it's graduating. It's, should I get a job? Should I go to grad school? Should I live on my own? So there's so many elements there that I feel like it's almost so much, and the world is so big and broad at this point, because in your life it just feels like somebody tells you what to do every year of your life. You go to school this year, let's go this year. But then now the whole world's open to him. I think that's been so overwhelming that he's almost shut down, and not wanted to face the decision-making process, because there's just too many unknowns and possibilities. But
well, I think that happens to any young adult. And then when you have autism, that's even scarier.
Yeah, totally.
Right? So how much support do you offer? How do your parents try to support him? How much is too much? That's my question. How do you balance that? How what do you see that, how is that happening in your family right now in terms of support?
I feel like how my parents have been responding to it has been basically going back, just taking a step back, because for a while it was every few weeks my mom would go and have conversation with him. So what are you thinking about this? And really trying to scaffold it of like, here's some research, what do you think of this? But he's still shutting down in his shell. So she's taken a step back to kind of rebuild that relationship so he feels safe, and then waiting for him to take an initiation. So recently he had a great breakthrough where he reached out to my mom and said, I think it would be so cool to be a science teacher. And so, and it was just so exciting, because he had never even thought about that. He just had nothing to say. He was just like, I can't think about it. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it.
But that was his own idea.
Yes, his own idea. Nobody gave that to him. He just needed his own time to process through it, and space and that safety of the relationship. So that's where we are right now.
Okay. Well, it sounds like as a family, you guys are very intuitive, and you just try to carefully, you think about mutual respect so that you're not taking over, and giving him a little space. To make his own decisions. Right? So when he's anxious, like, how does he deal with anxiety?
I feel like now and in the past, he's sought out people, like usually me or my mom, to kind of talk through things, and but it's more just like a safety of like, I know that I can talk to you, but sometimes he doesn't want to talk about it. But a lot of times he loves video games.
That's
his safe space.
Yes.
I know how this works. So that's a lot of his, a lot of his activities that he engages in.
That's how he copes with his, he's when he needs a space and need to cool down. I think that's quite common also. A lot of people play video games to just disconnect.
Totally.
Right.
He even makes up his own, so he's like a video game program where you can make your own video games. So you can almost like engage in your own world that you created. So I think that's also interesting, like a cool creative outlet. But
What do you think when he lives independently? Do you think he'll be able to shift to the world as needed, or he'll be just playing video games a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would love to give him space and to see what would happen and talk about expectations of what that would look like. But I think if I theorize, I would think he would play video games quite often because he wouldn't have that accountability of my mom being like, it's 11 o'clock at night, you should be asleep.
You have an interview tomorrow.
You have an interview tomorrow, yeah. Keeping on top of those scheduling things, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and then another interesting topic, I think, is self-awareness. I think it's one of the core deficits in people with autism that they have difficulties just thinking, relying on themselves and thinking about what do I know, what was my past experiences that I can use to make my current and future decisions, or just how do I portray myself to the world. You know, when we think about self-awareness, it's just in us, it's automatic.
Yeah.
You know, so how does that look like in your brother?
Yeah, I feel like in your description there are like two different elements there that I thought of some things with him that thinking about past experiences and that self-awareness of taking in an experience and thinking, did I enjoy that? So it's in the perspective of looking for potential careers, I think that's part of the challenge is what would I enjoy doing? Like it doesn't seem like from my perspective that he's really met somebody who has a job and thought, would I like that job? You know? So that self-awareness of thinking about what elements he would want, but then also I think especially for kids like him that the self-awareness of being aware enough to know, to cue in to see how other people are responding to you and perceiving you. I feel like that takes a hit sometimes for his self-confidence, where he sees other people interacting in a certain way that seems so easy, and he just thinks, I feel like everybody around me knows something that I don't know, like all these rules or all these, even for looking for jobs and applying for grad schools, like it feels like everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing and I don't know. So I feel like that is a challenge.
Yeah. Okay, so that's something that you as a family have to help him build the confidence to just help him to trust himself, right? Because he's trusted his family members all these years, and now it's time to trust himself. Yeah, that's really, really hard. Yeah. Well, I think that's a very good discussion. So I think we're gonna do maybe part 2, part 3, where we can just maybe brainstorm some more ideas on how to build self-awareness and how to build experience sharing, communication, and also how to nurture decision-making abilities in young adults. So maybe that's part 2 and part 3. Awesome. Okay, thanks, Victoria.
Yeah, thank you for having
bye,
me.
Guys.
Bye.
I don't think people have any questions, but I'm gonna stop here. I don't think. Okay, thanks, guys, for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.